doesn't research, has never had a job, lives alone in a messy house, a multimillionaire from playing video games, has no academic background in human psychology, just gets angry at the world and blames his problems on others.
You will pet me, whether you like it or not.
You openly admitted you never do research or read articles outside of Twitter. How can you shamelessly tell others to read more? I don't need to understand whatever article you want me to read. All I need to understand is human psychology and incentives. And incentives and human psychology are the deciding factors of how people will behave. I don't need to read your little special book or your Wikipedia article or anything else besides that. None of that stuff matters. What matters fundamentally is how do people act, how do people think, and how do people respond to incentives.
So stupid. First of all, this is just a defense of anti-intellectualism. Okay, this is anti-intellectualism masquerading as like some sort of understanding of humanity. Like, oh, this is my philosophical approach. It's like, no, it's not. You need to do both. Okay, understanding incentives and understanding humans is essential to doing analysis, but without any sort of factually accurate reporting, your analysis is always going to fall short. Of course, when you're on the right, you don't have to care about any of those things. And you can say, my feelings are what matter. My ignorance actually is more important than your knowledge. My feelings are more important than your facts. Okay? And you can, as long as you have a big enough platform, as long as you have a lot of other people backing you because you're, again, whispering sweet nothings into their ear about how this administration is actually awesome, okay? Then as long as the administration has some kind of base of support, either internationally, in the case of Asmondgold, by a lot of right-wing Europeans, even though that's going to fall apart soon too, or you know, your neo-Nazi Nick Fuentes or Tucker Carlson or whatever then you don't have to do the reading. You don't have to do it at all. You can just like repeat the same shit that you see on Twitter, which is ironic because for the longest time, my naysayers on the liberal side, the destinies of the world, claimed that I didn't actually do any reading at all, and I was a dumb moron who doesn't know anything and inconsistent and hypocritical and only rely on Twitter posts for my commentary. And that's so funny because that's literally what Asmondgold is doing. And Asmondgold, as a matter of fact, was able to develop himself as a political commentator because of all the disparaging nonsense that centrists and liberals and objective commentators in the slop tube sphere did to disparage someone like myself. What is this? Wait, what? 40K viewers and no comments almost? Viewbot or motherfucker? Did you think that because I paused the comments on the side of the screen that there are no comments happening in the chat? Yeah. For the longest time, my ops who presented themselves as like objective people, you know, like liberal centrists, and they tried to attack me as like a dangerous, scary person, constantly demanding, why aren't there others who are, you know, fighting back against Hasan and against the madness that he represents, all this like crazy wokeness or, you know, all this craziness that he represents with like socialism. It'll never happen. It's a dream. It's a scary one too. And there you have it. You built up someone. You built up an alternative. Now you hate it. Okay. Now you hate it. And it's ironic because every single thing that they said about me falsely, even though I might not be the greatest orator or have the same level of confidence that comes from Dunning-Kruger, the stupidity that a lot of these people maintain, that gives them this like ridiculous confidence in behaving as though they're totally right when they're wrong. Okay. Even though I might not have those things, I am very knowledgeable. I am very well read. This is something that I did study. This is something that I've been doing for many, many years. And also on top of that, I'm very consistent, right? That's why you can go back to videos from 2018 and see the exact same things that I was saying back then as I am now. Unfortunately, because things have not changed. And as a matter of fact, they've only gotten worse. I used to avoid political commentators and I assumed Hasan was right-wing for some reason. Yeah, I was shadow banned on election night 2024. I still got 314,000 people in here tuning in to see what I had to say about the election. And yet I was shadow banned off the platform because a lot of these other guys who are liberals, who are centrist themselves, who are apolitical themselves, who now hate ICE and hate Donald Trump, by the way, and they did back then as well, spent every waking moment leading up to the election trying to get me banned, trying to get me deplatformed before the election, working with congresspersons like Richie Torres, for example, who sent Amazon a sternly worded letter with a congressional letterhead demanding that I, as a dangerous left-wing figure who was an anti-Semite because I was, daring to oppose the nation state of Israel and its genocide, was the real person that was the only person that should be deplatformed off of Twitch. Okay, you still are, by the way. Yeah, exactly, and that hasn't really stopped. I was blacklisted. And yet I still was able to bring in 317,000 people tuning in to see what I had to say about the election. But just think about that. What do you think is going to happen in that process? Of course, people are going to go and seek out other alternatives if they can't find me on the main page on the night of the election. Thank you. Closed presents with 100 gifted subs and open presents with 100 gifted subs.
If you can understand that, then nothing else matters. It's pretty simple.
Anyway, it is pretty wild that he just openly says, like, I am not well read at all, and I'm not interested in being well read at all. It's just common sense. Like, he's giving the game away. But unfortunately, for right wingers, this is just how it works. Here's a journalist, Stephen Azark, saying, about a month or so back, I asked Asmondgold fans to meet me in the real world to talk, but none of them took me up on the offer. Instead, I got hundreds of replies and messages saying I didn't understand him, how I should just watch his streams and not just the clips. So I did, and learned that Zach doesn't care. He will put on a video he doesn't understand the full context of and ran about it with extreme right-wing bias. It's vitriol for 6 hours straight, a handpicked selection of clips designed to invoke anger without critical thinking. I genuinely believe that there are people here for his gaming takes, and I'm so worried that they are getting radicalized by Twitch's most powerful and least researched streamer. It's crazy, but stupid sells. And it's not just that he's like foolishly spewing toxic bile, okay? He also is followed by the vice president, or followed by Elon Musk, is in correspondence with Elon Musk. He's admitted directly that he is a regime propagandist that is having these sorts of conversations with people in positions of power. And that is the reason why I cover Asmondgold, even though people go, why do you cover Asmond? It's pointless. The vice president is retweeting him, okay? The real world is stupid, especially this administration. You're not talking about some random loser who sits in filth. You're talking about a random loser who sits in filth, who is in direct contact with Elon Musk, the most powerful person on the planet, the wealthiest billionaire on the planet, who is doing regime propaganda to a fairly sizable audience on a daily fucking basis, who's getting retweeted by the vice president. I know he is repulsive. I know it annoys you when I cover him. I get it. You fancy yourself to be this heightened intellectual, okay? You fancy yourself to be this heightened intellectual, and you feel like this is dumb to do. The reality of the matter is people are dumb, and this kind of dumbass actually does numbers. Doesn't research, has never had a job, lives alone in a messy house, a multimillionaire from playing video games, has no academic background in human psychology, just gets angry at the world and blames his problems on others. Like, he is a more prominent fixture in right-wing commentary now than like Fox News is, at least for our age demographic, okay? That's it.
You will pet me whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or not.